Let's talk about transparent backgrounds and what exactly that means. In front of us, we're looking at an image of Stitch. We have a yellow background. Stitch image came with this green background, and it doesn't really look that nice on my webpage, I'm sure you'll agree. I just included this screenshot of what the code looks like to create this little, I used figure, so you can see how that works, with a figure caption to put this text down below. But let's see what impact a transparent background has. By default, all images, no matter how much we'd like to think otherwise, are a square or rectangular shape in nature. And most of the time this background would be a black or a white or some other color. This particular one is green, just to give you a good visual of how this is working. So let's open up this image outside of the browser. I'm going to open it up in Photoshop to give you a visual of exactly what transparency means. So here's that same image, and I want to get rid of that green background, so all I have is this picture of Stitch. Most photo editing softwares have what we call layers, and you can think of layer like putting a piece of paper on top of a piece of paper on top of a piece of paper, and if I cut away parts on the top page, it's going to show through all the way down to the layers at the bottom. So using Photoshop, I'm going to create a new layer, and you'll notice that this layer has all these squares on it. That square indicates that it's transparent, that there's no color associated with this layer. I could fill it with a white or with different colors, but I want it to be transparent. I'm going to drag that layer to the bottom. So I think it'll be clear as we move along. So I'm just kind of asking you to have faith and see how this works for the moment. I'm going to click on this layer 1, which is the layer that has all of the information regarding the Stitch image. Choose the magic wand option, the magic wand tool. And what the magic wand tool is, it gives us the ability to click on a color and it'll select all contiguous pixels of that color. So you can see with the marching ants that it's clicked and selected all of this green color. Now I'm going to hit the delete key, and I think you'll see the magic happen. When I hit delete, all of the selection that was selected by the magic wand disappears, and all I'm left with is this image of Stitch and this transparent background, this no color background, because I have two layers. So the top layer is showing through whatever is not being displayed on the top layer. The bottom layer is showing through. In this case, there's nothing. There's no color coming through. So we just have this transparent layer. So now I'm going to save this file. I have two options. I can save it as either a GIF file, which has the ability to save transparency, and a PNG file, also which has the ability to save it as a transparent file. JPEGs cannot do this. If I save this as a JPEG, that transparent color will automatically turn white, and I don't want a white background. I want no background color. Because this is a clip art, I'm going to choose GIF because it doesn't require a lot of detail. So I'm going to find that GIF file that I had here a second ago. There we go. And we'll call this stitchgreen.gif. Well, it's no longer going to be green, but I'm going to save it that way anyway because that's the file that I had named before. So I stitch green and select it. I'm going to replace the one that's already there. Here I'm given, are you sure you want to maintain that transparent background? If I unselected it, see how the background goes white? So now instead of green on my web page, I would have a white background on that web page. But I don't. I want it to be transparent. So make that background color go away, and let's save that. How does that benefit our web page? I'm just going to accept these defaults. If I go back to that web page now and reload this same image, that green should go away. And it does. So now, even though this image is still a square image, and I have to remember that, the background is all transparent, so whatever color I now have as my web page will bleed through, and it looks like I have just a floating Stitch. And this looks much better than that Stitch with the green background. So that's what transparency means. Getting rid of a color and having no color bleed through so the background color of your website can come through instead.